Back in studio with the guys, and credit to the Jets for their third victory of the season, but I think maybe exploration required on the other side. And JJ, the question sort of becoming for Atlanta, when and who is held responsible for what the season has not been? Supposed to be a step forward, it feels like they're regressing.
Oh, there's no question that the Atlanta Falcons are regressing. This is a bad loss for Atlanta. I want to give respect to the New York Jets, but when Bijan Robinson goes for nearly 200 yards, rushing and receiving, when you have, Michael Penix Jr. is out, that's okay. You still got your $160 million quarterback in Kirk Cousins over there, right? Oh, he doesn't get it done.
Surface level, those are the facts.
Right.
Yeah.
The Jets are on their backup, veteran, in Tyrod Taylor, but they don't have Garrett Wilson. They traded away their other two great players a couple of weeks ago. You got to win this game. Yeah. There's no question you have to win this game. We thought that this NFC South was going to be between the Bucs and the Falcons. And the Falcons made moves this offseason by trading away future first-round picks because they said, you know what? That first-round pick's going to be in the 20s anyway. We're obviously going to be winning. We're going to the playoffs. Who cares? That's really a second-round pick. Now look at him. It's going to be a top 7 pick going to the Rams. To the Rams, right? And so you lose to this Jets team, and the folks there in Atlanta are feeling some heat on their seat. Head coach Raheem Morris, General Manager Terry Fontenot, everyone can share and blame with this, right? You can say there's some personnel issues, and you can say there's some coaching issues as well. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it is one thing when everyone is going to be able to get their share of the blame. And so now we're very much on watch with Atlanta if there is going to be some sort of shakeup there. We have seen shakeup at the coordinator and assistant coaching positions the last 2 seasons in Atlanta. Will there be more, not just this upcoming week, but certainly at the end of the year?
I'm glad you segment those two ideas of personnel and staff and where responsibility lies, because, Mac, we've seen in the past there are certain teams that, despite their shortcomings, they're closer to success than they appear at this given moment. Is this that type of team where if you can get a hire right, you're there, or because of the quarterback situation, you still feel like you're pretty far off if you're Atlanta?
Well, coaching is very, very important. It's not like this team doesn't have talent. And I do believe Michael Penix is a talented quarterback. He's more than a serviceable guy when you look at his skill set. Bijan Robinson is a top 3, top 4 running back in the National Football League. In just terms of pure talent, he has that. Drake London is wide receiver 1. You look at the offensive line, even though they're missing McGarry, the right tackle, they still got talent on the offensive line. And the young players that you talked about that they traded up for, James Pierce and Walker, those guys have really shown flashes as well. So they have pieces. It's something about the disconnect. And with Atlanta, in the last 7 games, they're 1-6. In their last 7 games, they're 1-6. Even without Michael Penix Jr., Kirk Cousins can win you ball games, especially in a matchup like today. Think about some of the embarrassing losses that we watched with Atlanta. Shutout earlier in the year against Carolina when they were trying to figure things out. Losing to Miami, losing to Carolina, allowing them to come back once again. Bryant had a historical day in franchise history. So when you look at other organizations that were kind of straddling the fence, they kind of got things together. You look at the Miami Dolphins, for instance. They're playing better football. Carolina has surpassed Atlanta in their division. And that's something that we didn't think of that could be a realistic thing in terms of the expectations for Atlanta. So, yes, it's been a shakeup, but I don't know exactly what they do moving forward, but clearly they got to get the structure in place.
Yeah, you made a great point. You said something about Kirk Cousins can win, but can he win? He didn't win last year, and he hasn't won since he's been integrated into the starting lineup. So right now the Atlanta Falcons' biggest problem is they're not playing team football. Defense may get some stops, but offense don't pick up those key third downs, or they don't score in the red zone. Bijan Robinson today had almost a total of 200 yards on the ground and through the air, and you still find a way to lose a ball game.
Special teams.
Special teams. That's another huge, a muff punt down within the 5-yard line.
That led to a touchdown.
Things like that just cannot happen, and I believe that's something that's leading Atlanta into this losing cycle.
Well, that's the telling sign of a bad team. They find ways to lose.
Yeah.
Against Indy, across the water.
Yep.
They found a way to lose that ball game. You know what I mean? Carolina, they found a way to lose. The second matchup against Carolina, they're finding ways to lose. That's a culture issue. Yeah. You got to get that disease out of the locker room.
And that's the issue is that Raheem Morris is in his second year as a second-time head coach. Yeah. And you talk about the talent that's on this team, right? But I go back to personnel because they may not have a quarterback. You believe in Michael Penix Jr., but right now they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, to your point, can't beat the New York Jets when Bijan Robinson goes for 190 plus.
Yep.
That's an issue. That's a problem. So if your coaching can't overcome your personnel and your personnel can't overcome your coaching, it's going to be a long offseason in Atlanta.
Said they're finding ways to lose. They had to look a little bit harder for this one, but they still found the L. Atlanta down in a number of ways. A look here at the most consecutive losses when scoring first. Usually you score first, get that thing rolling downhill. Scoring first has been the worst news for the New York Jets. Not this time. They snapped a streak of 10 straight with a win against Atlanta.